And Hogan, the white meat American babyface, proceeds to try to throw Sullivan from the scaffolding, where he will surely die.
He locked up with her! Oh my god!
I played this match next to Dragon Lee and fucking Axiom. One is art, the other is complete shit. I'll let you decide. Alright, shall we talk about Uncensored?
Yes, I think we got everything.
Well, that brings us to our wrestling rewind. And this week we have WCW Uncensored 1996. The main event is the Doomsday cage. We have the alliance to get rid of Hulkamania or something. I have it written down somewhere. Versus Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. And the first thing that we see is a distorted videos of Arn Anderson, Kevin Sullivan, Ric Flair, and Lex Luger. All of the men, they say, they're coming to get Hulk Hogan.
And I think The Gangster was there too. Did you get him? The Gangster?
Z Gangsta.
I'm sorry, Z Gangsta.
Z Gangsta.
Boy, I messed that up too. Anyway. Yeah. But don't forget about him.
Yeah. So the first match of the evening is Eddie Guerrero versus Conan for the WCW US title. I played this match next to Dragon Lee and fucking Axiom. One is art, the other is complete shit. I'll let you decide.
Okay.
Dusty called Eddie Guerrero his homie, and repeatedly, "Oh, that's my homie."
Well, what about Heenan kept referencing Eddie Guerrero and eating tacos and all other kind of Mexican food?
What?
I think he called him the Taco Man at one point.
Tacos are a delicious treat. What are you saying?
I don't know. He's on it heavy.
You don't think in this wide world that Mexicans would eat Mexican food?
Calling him the Taco Man?
Maybe he is a taco man. Maybe he moonlights as a taco guy.
I think he's got a wrestling career.
Maybe Mommy and Daddy Guerrero have a taqueria.
Well, I still think the wrestling thing will work out for him.
Tony lost his shit when Eddie landed on his feet after a monkey flip from Conan. He really lost his shit. Like, that was the most spectacular thing he's ever seen in his life. I thought this was a really great match. Tons of near falls, especially for Eddie. And I actually thought he was going to win. And then we saw shades of heel Conan, both with his body language, his facial expressions. He even lost his temper and slapped the shit out of Eddie. Of course, Eddie didn't back down. And the match ends when Eddie leapfrogs into Conan's face. And then they fall, and Eddie's dick lands on Conan's face. And it hurts Eddie. And for some reason, that's Conan's fault, according to the commentators. I think they actually said he low-blowed him.
He did.
And then Conan...
they said he low-blowed him. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. That was on purpose.
Yeah. And there's no fucking... It's physically impossible for him to have purposely... Anyway. So Conan tries to shake Eddie's hand after the match, but Eddie and his sore dick, they're not having it. And they just leave. Disgusted. And that was match number 1. Pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, pretty good opener.
Always good to see Conan. Of course, always good to see Eddie.
And they made reference to the Cruiserweight division, so it is here.
It is here. So after that, we have Mean Gene Okerlund talking to Colonel Robert Parker. But first, Mean Gene pimps the hotline as usual. And it's worth seeing just for the image of the giant smugly sitting in front of the keyboard, slowly giant typing with one index finger. It's great. I love the giant. Colonel Parker, we learn, is going to be facing a woman tonight. That woman is Medusa. Parker thanks Dirty Dick Slater for training him to beat a woman. And Dirty Dick Slater actually looks like the perfect guy you'd want to ask to train you for that sort of thing. And Parker says he's doing this match for Dirty Dick Slater. He's doing this match for his uncle, Colonel Tom Parker. He's doing it for Red and all the boys, and for Elvis himself. And he's doing it for all the people who love Colonel Parker like a pig loves slop. He's going to take that girl, rub her face in it real good, and do what other men ain't got the guts to do. And Dirty Dick Slater says everyone should love Colonel Parker. And when he whips Medusa, he's going to make history. And the look on Slater's face the entire time is priceless. He's got this like little proud smile as Colonel Parker's talking about beating this woman. Like, yeah, I taught him everything he knows.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So that's something to look forward to. Next match of the evening is Lord Stephen Ringle versus the Belfast Bruiser, Fit Finlay. And as the Bruiser comes out, he slaps Regal's guy Jeeves as he's walking to the ring, which I thought was fucking hilarious. He just smacked the shit out of him. And holy shit, what a match this was. Every move each of these dudes landed was preceded by like this thud or slap of flesh on flesh. Both guys just beat the fuck out of each other. They hit each other really hard. They just had a fight. And I love the shit that, like, when one of them was on their back, they'd still like have the wherewithal to punch him in the face or something. Like when Regal was trying to pick up Finlay, and Finlay just socked him. I think Regal had a similar thing earlier. It's good shit.
Yeah, it was definitely a hard-hitting affair. And then there was also one point, Regal has Finlay, who has like one of the wildest mullets I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Like that thing was really mulleted out. But he has him like in a, you would almost say it's a rest hold. It's a rear naked chin lock there on the ground. And then he just takes his elbow and then just like goes right over the bridge of his nose.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And then you just hear this thud. Like, golly.
Yeah. We got to see Regal's little faggy head bob. I think he kicked Finlay in the dick, and then the rest started yelling at him, and Finlay was like, all right. But then he did his little head bob and started working on the Bruiser. I thought that was great. Regal's great.
Yes, he is.
Regal got busted open. I couldn't tell if it was his nose or not. Regal loses by disqualification when his Blue Bloods, Sir Robert Eaton and Squire David Taylor, come out to whoop on the Belfast Bruiser. Eaton and Taylor pick up and hold Bruiser by his arms so Regal can smack the fuck out of him.
And boy, did he.
Boy, did he. Bruiser gets up and chases everyone to the back. And yeah, that immediately was my favorite match of the night so far.
Well, there's only been 2 matches up until this point. No, in between the 2.
Right.
But that, yeah, I like that one. That was a fight.
Well, it was a good contrast too, because you had the athleticism of Eddie and Conan.
Yeah.
And then this one was just ugly and brutal, hard to watch at some points. It's good shit. So Mean Gene talks to Jimmy Hart and the Giant. The Giant will be facing Loch Ness after Jimmy Hart embarrassed him. I don't think they elaborated to how he embarrassed him, but he embarrassed him nonetheless.
He embarrassed himself.
Hart says no one puts their hands on him. The Giant says he can start off with rhymes and he can start off with riddles. But Loch Ness in that ring, I'm going to smoke you like bacon on a griddle.
That Giant.
Yeah. Then the Giant says that Ric Flair's ass is next because he has the Giant's belt. So after that, Mean Gene talks to Loch Ness. And this fuck is going into the match alone after his falling out with Jimmy Hart and the gas station he worked at. And he stumbles into the interview with his attendant uniform and 3 teeth. He calls Hart a weasel face. And Gene's like, a weasel face? Loch Ness is like, yes, that's how I describe him. And Hart promised me a title shot against Hogan in the Doomsday cage, but he pulled the rug out from under me. Then Loch Ness says he's going to take his anger out on the Giant. And if he gets his hands on Hart, he'll know all about it. And then Gene offers to introduce Loch Ness to a dentist.
Yes. You put that promo up against Shotzi's promo, and I think that was a worse promo. He was like pausing. He would say some lines, and then he'd just pause and sit there for a couple seconds.
And yeah, it was like he did the Elizabeth thing.
What, he was waiting for a reaction? He was backstage.
So was Elizabeth. She was backstage. She said some shit. Then she waited like 10 seconds. Then she said some shit. Waited 10 seconds. It was almost like she was reading from a cue card.
Okay, I can see that. But yeah, I'm like, how long is this promo? Like, this guy's just like,
yeah.
I don't know. It was the pausing that was doing it for me. I thought he had such a promising future in front of him. You know, he's going to be like multiple-time over world champion. I was really shocked that this is what came of him.
What's pretty amazing that the first time we saw him, he was the secret weapon for Kevin Sullivan, and then now he's wrestling as Giant
within a month.
Yeah.
And there's a new secret weapon.
There's 2 new secret weapons.
Yeah.
It's like somebody looked at him and said, oh, we can't have this fucking piece of shit in the main event.
Billed at 700 pounds, remember?
Oh, yeah, right. Well, after that, we had Colonel Parker versus Medusa. And Parker comes out in his slave owner suit, not ready to wrestle at all. At least that's what I thought. I thought he just came out in a suit. And Medusa comes out smiling like a cheerleader. Parker takes his jacket off, locks up with Medusa, and the commentators, they lose their shit. Every move that happened in this match, the commentators acted like it was the first time they've ever seen that move.
I don't think it was the first time, because it's a prominent thing in wrestling to lock up.
Yeah.
So I think because they, it's a man versus woman, and he locked up with her. I think that was just, they really.
It was taboo.
Yeah, he locked up with her. Oh my god.
Okay, yeah, I guess if you look at it that way. I don't know, it's just a little over at the top. And Medusa didn't make it any better because every move she did, she looked like a trainee. Like she'd hit a hip toss, she was astonished that she hit it. She hit a scoop slam, and I think she actually jumped up in the air excitedly.
She did.
And I mean,
it's more like a trainee. It reminds me kind of like of the Maxine Dupree. Like every move she does, she's like surprised that she did it.
Yeah.
But, it's because she was wrestling a dude.
I guess. It's just, she's the women's champion, right?
I know, but it's not WWE today. They kept saying, oh, well, it is a man, he's superior.
It showed, too. Like, if Parker wanted to rip Medusa's head off, he could have. It just seemed like he would do something and then just stop and then take a whole bunch of moves. She actually kicked his ass.
There was that one moment, though. He got her in that chokehold, and he had her up in the air, and then it was like, well, it's over. Fun and games are over. And then he did that choke slam to her, and it was like, yeah, it was fun while it lasted. And then even in the replay, Hina was like, oh, you see, Medusa got the body slam, but then the Colonel had words with her. He was great with it.
Yeah.
Had words with her, and he's choking. Domestic abuse is funny.
So the match ends after Medusa hits a German suplex on Parker. She bridges up for the pin, and Slater, who ended up coming out, give moral support to Parker. He breaks up the pin from the outside, and then Parker just rolls on Medusa, and he pins her.
Because she can't kick out because he's a dude.
I guess. Then Shivani and Heenan, they laugh. She can German suplex him, but she can't kick out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they laugh at Parker.
I love that he had to cheat to win, and even though it was
yeah,
he's talking all this big game. He was like, I'm gonna beat that woman. And then,
I hated this, but I will say it's probably like the best way you could have done something like this, because Parker was like 3 times her size. So any offense that he did, there's nothing she could have done, and that's true. If Parker wanted to get serious, there was nothing Alundra. She could kick him in the balls. That's about it. Maybe go for an eye. But it seemed, I don't know, like I guess there wasn't anything obvious to me as to why he would just not. He would lock up with her and then just stop, or he'd pick her up and start spinning her, but then he got dizzy.
I just wanted to point out that, they mentioned that she came over from WWF. She threw the title in the trash, and she did that. And now her moment is to be wrestling Colonel Sanders.
Yes.
So there you go. I forgot to point that out. Like, she left WWE and threw the title in the trash, and this is her big moment, is to be wrestling Colonel Sanders.
I'm a little disappointed. The first women's match we see in WCW is that awesome Japanese tag match. And was this the second one? I think it's the second one.
I don't know if we can consider this a women's match.
Half of one.
Okay.
Women are or a woman is competing. So I would say it's a woman's match.
Okay.
Either way, what I'm saying is the first time we see a woman wrestling, it's 4 badass Japanese women. Second time we see a woman wrestling, it's Alundra Blaze versus Colonel Parker. So I don't know what the fuck happened.
And then probably the third time we're going to see the lady with the balloon-sized knockers.
Major Guns?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm
sure she's going to be making her appearance soon.
Oh, we got a lot of character growth for Booker, though, because he was G.I. Bro.
Yeah.
So Lee Marshall talks to the Road Warriors. Marshall says everyone wants a shot at the Road Warriors, but he has a feeling they want a shot at everyone else. Animal says they want to kick everyone's butt, and Sting and Booker T are going to find out why they're called the Chicago Big Bullies, even though they're from Minnesota. Hawk says he and Animal are going to remove Sting and Booker T's brainstem, so they have to wear adult diapers for the rest of their lives.
And they mentioned something about the medulla oblongata.
Yeah. See, if you remove the brainstem, they have to wear adult diapers or some shit. It's weird. DDP and the Booty Man had a match. Paige is in dire straits. He's broke. His career is now on the line. And his Diamond Doll is now taking that booty cock. And Paige has a beard. And he looks like he stopped doing whatever chicks did in the 90s to give their hair volume. So, yeah, he's really selling it. And this balding booty fuck comes out. He does little Ric Flair struts with his ass cheeks cut out.
And to be clear, this is formerly known as the Zodiac, formerly known as Brutus the Barber Beefcake. So now he is on his new gimmick called Booty Man.
Yes. And the booty girl comes out to the ring to give support to the Booty Man by saying things like, he's so cute, and she wants him to be her boyfriend. And I'm thinking, why the fuck does Dallas want this bitch?
I don't know. She's looking kind of good there.
She did look good, but I mean,
she just got
surely,
as Heenan said, she just has to know her place.
He did say that she looked like a mushroom. I thought that was funny. So Paige tells the whore to get on the apron so he can plan a smooch on her. Then she gets outraged and slaps Paige. And the Booty Man hits his high knee for the win.
Was he a pothead or something?
No, that's...
Oh, okay, gotcha. Took me a second there.
Yeah, so then after the match, Booty Man sticks his tongue down the throat of another man's wife, and they go fuck like rabbits in the back, I presume. And I thought Medusa and Parker was going to be the low point of this pay-per-view, but nope, Booty Man and Booty Girl take that.
Yeah, not the best match.
No.
I like the Parker match, but this match, yeah.
I didn't hate the Parker match. That's all. That's about as far.
Well, yeah, like is probably a little harsh, but
it was something to watch.
Yeah,
I don't ever want to watch Booty Man, ever.
Was it here that they mentioned, or was it later that they mentioned that why he's now the Booty Man as opposed to the Zodiac is because he was sent into the Dungeon of Doom as a spy?
I think they recapped it during. They did the Hogan thing. So
okay.
when they recapped it later.
Okay.
So Mean Gene talks to Lex Luger. Gene is jealous that Booty Man gets what's-her-face's pussy. Jimmy Hart says that tonight is the last night he's managing Lex Luger because he's a man of his word. More inside baseball that we're not privy to. If only they had like a weekly show where they could fill in the gaps for the pay-per-views.
I know, right?
So then
I was watching that.
Nope. Then Hart sobs, tells Luger he loves him, and then hands him a jacket. Then Luger says he's between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, he's going to be in the most dangerous match in wrestling history. But on the other hand, he's watching Sting wrestle the Road Warriors with Booker T. Luger says he's watching Sting's back. And I like Luger a lot, but he's definitely not a promo guy.
He believes what he says. I'm okay with it.
Loch Ness versus the Giants. Loch Ness tripped on his way to the ring. That worthless fuck tipped us off on how high a quality of a match this will be.
Oh, I knew what I was getting out of this match. And even Heenan said, don't pull out any pen and paper and start writing down moves on this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, this is just two hunks of meat slapping together.
My favorite part of the whole match was when the Giant came out. He had that serious look on his face, and then he just stops, looks to the left, looks to the right, then he just goes, roar! He looked good. He looked all lean and shit.
He did.
He reminded me of Bruiser Brody, just body type wise and the hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much all Giant until he tried to splash Loch Ness in the turnbuckle. And he went ass over tea kettle over the ropes. It was awesome, but it looked like it hurt. I'm sure that took years off the Giant's career. Loch Ness sets up Giant for a couple elbows. Giant rolls out of the way of the second fat fuck elbow. And Giant hits a monster clothesline and kicks Loch Ness in the face. And the way Loch Ness falls over It's like a fucking tree, and he dramatically yells at the same time. He's like, ah! And Giant hits his Hogan leg drop for the win. And Giant gets his face in the camera and says, Hogan, that was for you. And Monday night, Flair, your ass is mine. Roar!
Yeah, so he is getting a title match.
Love me some Giant. So Lee Marshall talks to Sting and Booker T after the Giant match. Marshall says both men are coming together over a common goal. Booker says his priorities are getting to the Road Warriors. He says he's turning this into a Harlem Street fight, and it's going to be on like Neckbone. Sting gets a little too comfortable with his hood talk in front of Booker. And Sting says, I need you to stay angry against the Road Warriors. And he and Booker T are coming at them like they'll never believe. And I don't understand why Sting is so goddamn glossy. He's the only one that's just saturated in gloss. Booker says you're looking at a 5-time champion, and a 4-time tag team champion. It's going to be nothing but a thing like a chicken wing on a string when we finish with these two suckers. And Sting says, on like Neckbone, give me some of that stuff.
Yeah. Sting's talking about the Neckbone.
Yeah. Neckbone and suckers, and yeah, he got a little too familiar. It's like that one white kid that's allowed to say the N-word in front of his black friends, and he just habitually uses it because it's like a faucet has been turned on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm free.
Well, you said a little too much now.
So the Road Warriors face Sting and Booker T in the Chicago street fight that has rope breaks. Now, the WWF really helped the Road Warriors with their presentation because the football pads with the spikes glued on, not as much of an effect as the red pads with the black spikes.
For me, it was the music. Well, first of all, no one really had good music.
True.
All night. I was like, oh, at least we're going to get to hear Booker T's music. Nope, it was Sting's music.
Yeah.
And not the good Sting music, like the Venice Beach Sting music. Although, if we skip ahead a little bit, I think I was okay with Hogan's music. I think I like
American made.
Yeah, I think I kind of liked the Hogan music.
I don't like it because he did it. He did it on a little CD. So just on principle, I don't like it.
Well, there you go.
So Hawk attacks Sting and Booker T before they get to the ring, and they did the split screen shit during the match, and I was not interested. They did the split screen at points where they were all like in the same area. Like, there's no reason to have it. It's dumb.
Yeah, they're like back to back with each other.
Yeah.
And they got the split screen going.
You could see all of them are in the same split screens.
Yeah, like the body parts are crossing over.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's like they just learned how to do it, so they had to abuse it. So at one point, Sting goes all the way to the catering area to grab a chair, and comes back and takes out Animal. Then he starts assaulting Hawk, and Booker T helps him out. And then this dumb fuck drops the chair to try to pull Hawk's pants down or something. I don't know what he was doing. So naturally, Animal gets in the ring, he grabs the chair and starts wailing on Sting and Booker T. Didn't see that coming. It's about this time I was saying to myself, man, this is a long fucking match.
It felt like it was the longest match on the card. And
It was
also
close
weird
to it.
That Doomsday match probably went on pretty long too.
Yeah, they're about the same length.
It was weird, the Sting, he would go to get stuff, and he was just like casually walk back.
Yeah.
Booker T's over getting his ass beat, and he's casually walking back to go find something.
If I was Booker T, I would have been livid to see my partner leave the whole area and come back with something that there's plenty of.
I know, I was like, is there no under the ring thing yet?
You can't kick a photographer off a chair and take that?
Yeah, he's just walking back all the way to the back and come out with some brooms.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you went back for?
Yeah, that's the second time he went back to catering. And Tony's like, I've never seen Sting like this. All in a hushed tone. Like,
the first one was for the chair.
Yeah, first one was chair. Second one was brooms. And it was like, oh man, Sting got the brooms out. You know shit's on now.
Yeah.
Shit's getting really crazy. Somebody stop this. He's got brooms. And he's using the broom part. And then Hawk gets it, and he fucking uses the the handle.
You know, when he snapped it over his knee, I was like, "Uh-oh,
Yeah.
we're about to it's about to get real."
So Booker T, I guess he saw Sting do it twice, so he then goes to the back. An Animal follows him, and Luger's in the back powdering his pussy in front of like this tiny little mirror where these two guys are fighting. Animal accidentally hits Luger. This sets Luger off, and he starts beating the fuck out of Animal. Then Stevie Ray comes out of nowhere, and he helps Luger fuck up Animal, even though I thought they were enemies. And Luger's repeatedly screaming, "You ruined my sheen!" Because apparently...
Yeah, it's like, look, I gotta go out there looking like this.
Good stuff. So Jimmy Hart, Stevie Ray, and Luger tape Animal to a pipe, so there's no way he'll ever escape that. Booker T comes back to the ring to fuck up Hawk. Booker misses a Harlem hangover, so Stevie Ray comes in, hits Hawk with the back of the head with a chair, and despite all the other chair shots Hawk has endured this evening, this one was enough. Animal is screaming in rage by the pipe, and we find that he has handcuffs now, so it's more believable. Sting and Booker T are arguing over who's going to get title shots as a result of this, and then Stevie's whooping Animal like a slave with a chair.
I thought Sting and Luger were the champions.
I don't know what the fuck. Maybe. I don't know. Sure.
Yeah, I thought they were the champions.
Nobody had belts on, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird.
If they said it, then I missed it. To me, it seemed like they didn't establish who the champions were.
Yeah. But I thought they were the champions, and then Harlem Heat gets the title match because they won the match or something.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
I did think it ran kind of long.
Really long.
It seems like at one point, they weren't even going for pins or anything. They were just, like, trading punches.
Yeah.
And then, like, the guy's on the ground, and he's just punching him and kicking him. He's not even going for a pinfall or anything. It's like, well, I guess they just needed to get their time in.
Well, that brings us to our main event of the evening. That is the Doomsday Cage. This is the most dangerous match in wrestling history. It's Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage versus the Alliance to end Hulk Hogan. It's very specific. Now, the Alliance consists of Flair, Taskmaster, Luger, Ming, the Barbarian, Z Gangsta, Arn Anderson, and the Ultimate Solution. And that's
yes.
And the idea is Hogan and Savage have to start at the top of the structure, and it's, I don't know, it's what, like 2 Hell in the Cells stacked on top of each other?
Yes. They said they're about 35 feet high.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, and it has no floor either.
Yeah.
The floor is a cage.
I saw at the very beginning where all the guys were just standing on the cage floor thing, and they were all just like rocking back and forth uneasily. Yeah, it kind of told me what we were looking forward to. Arn Anderson was the only one that was dressed differently, once again proving how underrated he was.
Yeah, he was wearing like a protective suit or something. I don't know.
Like a tracksuit almost.
Yeah. I thought it was to protect himself from the cage.
Yeah, I'm sure that was part of it. He just looked like he was ready for a street fight. He wasn't dressed like a wrestler like everybody else was.
Yeah.
He was the only one that made it seem like it was a different type of match. Hogan and Savage, they faced Flair and Anderson first. And they did, even though they were on the same floor or same part of the little area, and it wasn't that big, they still did the split screen. I'm watching these people wrestle in this cage, and I'm thinking, man, yeah, 3 cages stacked on top of one another. One wrong thing happens, and this becomes the darkest day in wrestling history.
Well, if you went through the top floor, maybe the second floor stops you.
Maybe.
But, yeah,
maybe.
You could also then fall straight down.
I don't know. If a 300-pound man is falling on this flimsy little cage.
Yeah, the momentum takes him all the way down.
So there's a moment where Flair passes a weapon down to Sullivan in the lower cage. So he passes the weapon to Sullivan instead of actually using it. Smart strategy. And then Hogan and Macho Man just randomly escape the cage through a trapdoor that just appeared.
They're just now pointing out.
Yeah. Like, oh, there's a trapdoor. Okay.
And then they said, oh, if they get through that trapdoor, then Hogan and Arn Anderson are eliminated from the match. But they didn't ever leave the match. The rules are weird.
Yeah.
They said once they get out of the first level, then they get to the second level, then the two competitors are eliminated.
Oh, okay.
So they were supposed to be eliminated, but they never left.
Gotcha. No, they didn't leave at all. Hogan and Savage, they get to the next level and face the Taskmaster, Luger, Ming, and the Barbarian. The Taskmaster tries to use the weapon Flair handed to Hogan, but Hogan just has a chain. So all the time, Savage and Hogan spent up top fighting Flair and Arn Anderson. The bad guys on the lower level did not take the time to clear the weapons that Hogan and Savage could use against them.
My thing was why weren't they all charging at once?
That too.
It's like that doorway was too much for they like wouldn't pass through that doorway.
Oh, and the best part was Flair and Anderson eventually find the mysterious trap door and they join the other cage. So like they spent 20 minutes trying to figure out how to open up this this trap door and then fall through it. And then when they finally do, Hogan has there's a door in the middle of this cage. So he locks the Ming and the Barbarian out. So it's Luger, Savage, Taskmaster, and Hogan. Hogan and Taskmaster, they fight to the scaffolding. And Hogan, the white meat American babyface, proceeds to try to throw Sullivan from the scaffolding, where he will surely die.
Yeah, 2 stories up, he's trying to kick him off.
He's got,
even the ref is like, please stop.
Yeah. Hogan's got his boot on his face, pushing him off the scaffolding, and Sullivan's screaming in terror. Hogan's the babyface.
And he was like holding on for dear life.
Fortunately, Sullivan saves himself by punching Hogan in the dick. And then Hogan and Sullivan, they fight to the floor. They're followed by Luger and Savage. Then all 4 men fight their way to the real wrestling ring. Hogan grabs Michael Buffer's microphone and starts beating the shit out of Sullivan with it. I think he broke it.
Face.
Yeah. After beating Sullivan's ass in the real ring for a while, Hogan and Sullivan fight back to the cage, the Doomsday cage. And Hogan and Savage are trade opponents, so Hogan and Luger can fight. And then at one point, Schiavone said the other people in the ring escaped, but they're nowhere to be seen. So I don't know what the fuck that was. Like, oh, they escaped the cage! And then they're slowly in an orderly fashion going down the scaffolding. But you never see them.
Yeah. And then my next question. Because at the top level, when they got through that trap door, they had won that level. But then why didn't the same rules apply when they got out of the second level?
Because they escaped through the scaffolding. They didn't escape through the cage.
So it didn't count.
But
then they never went back up to that level.
Nope. They sure didn't.
Oh, the rules.
Yeah.
That was my confusion. It's like, wait, they passed level 2. Why? What is happening here?
Yeah, I said that pretty much throughout the whole match. Like, what is going on here? Hogan, Savage, Sullivan, and Luger are having their normal match. Z Gangsta comes out with the ultimate solution. So Solution and Gangsta take Hogan and Savage back to the Doomsday cage because they've gone back and forth like about 2 or 3 times now. Solution and Gangster proceed to beat the fuck out of Savage and Hogan. And Taskmaster is standing outside of the cage just poking at each of them with a stick.
And also there's like a disco ball or something going on because the lights keep changing.
Yeah, it's weird. Where the fuck did he get the stick? Where did he come from?
I don't know. And then there was that weird spotlighting thing happening. Like Hogan and Z Gangsta was just like under a spotlight and everything else was just like a shadow.
Yeah. So Anderson and Flair get into the mix. It's just an exhibition of Savage and Hogan getting pummeled. At one point, Savage and Hogan are lying on the corner in their respective heaps. Then the Booty Man takes a break from giving it to the Diamond Doll to bring out frying pans for Savage and Hogan to even the odds. So Savage and Hogan proceed to beat everybody down with frying pans. Then Luger comes out to stop Hogan and Savage. Luger pulls out a weighted glove. He goes to hit Savage. Savage ducks out of the way at the last second. Luger looks at Flair, says, fuck it, hits him anyway. So Flair's out. Hogan takes out Luger and then tries to escape with Savage. Savage remembers, oh yeah, we're in a match. So he covers Flair for this pin. I guess that's how you win. And then Hogan and Savage run like a couple bitches. Dusty later says this pay-per-view will go down in history as something never before seen. And thankfully, it's something we've yet to see again.
Yes. But, when we remember it, it is more entertaining than, watching it,
Right.
oddly enough. Like so many little things that make it entertaining, but when you're watching it, yeah, not so much.
Yeah, I don't even know what to make of any of this. Like, you had some good matches, or at least two. I would imagine like a group of people discussed what was going to go on. They probably talked about it with Hogan. I'm sure they talked about it with Flair. I just don't see how none of them said, no, this is bullshit. But give them credit for topping Hogan beating up 10 guys at once.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying, I guess.
Yeah.
But, we're getting close to the Hollywood era, the NWO era.
We're getting close.
So it's all going to be over at that point.
But before we get closer to the NWO, we have WrestleMania 6 next week.
WrestleMania 6. This is Warrior Hogan, right?
Warrior Hogan for the WWF Heavyweight title and the WWF Intercontinental title. Both belts on the line. Dusty Rhodes also makes his WrestleMania appearance. And then Piper has his infamous match with Bad News Brown.
Oh.
It's the one where
I know nothing about that match, so there you go.
Half of his body's painted black.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, that should be fun.
Yeah. I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't even think it was about that. I think it was to show like the good and evil or duality or some shit.
That is something to look forward to. And then after that, we have Slamboree.
Yeah, Slamboree. Good memory.
Yeah.
Then it's the Great American Bash, and I believe that's when...
That's it. That's the one. But on that note, if you agree... Well, yeah?
Yeah.
If you agree with anything, let us know in the comments below. If you disagree with anything, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget, again, to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Once again, we're giving away a shirt. I don't know when we'll do it exactly, but we'll do it. And until next time, top guys.